Welcome, Negronis with Nord, episode 80. The light is changing in the office. We film around 4 or 5 usually, and it has been very bright for the last 6 months. It was daylight savings, unbeknownst to me. I did not know that until I talked to some new parents in the office on Monday. And I was like, oh, how was your weekend? And they were like, my weekend was a fucking nightmare. What are you talking about? Like, Sunday was horrible. And I was like, why? Sunday was such a beautiful day. It's the marathon. It was sunny. It was so nice out. And they're like, daylight savings is a complete nightmare for new parents. So I did not know. It just happened and it totally passed me by. We're gonna jump on some viewer questions today, but first, what has been happening in social this week? I obviously saw the Ben Affleck thing. For those of you who haven't seen Ben Affleck carrying a Starbucks cup, like, it's incredible what the internet can care about. But yes, this was a thing people talked about for a minute. I think that there's no real takeaway for influencers from this. It was just like it's a funny joke the internet's obsessed with, and so like him carrying a Starbucks cup was funny to them. But this is a good reminder is that brands are absolutely watching what you post after you work with them. It is something fair or unfair that really frustrates brands is when they work with an influencer and then like a week later they're talking about another product. A client had done a campaign with someone for like a coffee machine, and they would, done a sponsored post. Oh, I love this coffee machine. It's the most amazing coffee machine, blah, blah, blah. And then a week later, they were shooting something else in their kitchen, and that coffee machine wasn't there. And there was another one, which fine. You were paid to say something, you were paid to like post, and you're not being paid for that anymore. And if you don't like the coffee machine, you do not have to use it. That is your choice. But like, absolutely know the brand is going to see that. Your audience is going to see that. Those kinds of things do erode trust with your audience. It's why, if you don't legitimately believe what you are saying, it's, I really suggest if you can turn it down, that you would turn it down and wait for opportunities to talk about brands that you really like, because it's definitely something brands watch, and it's definitely something that they can feel offended by if they are paying you to do something and then they see you very quickly after talk about a competitor, or it's clear that like you actually like the competitor more. That competitor isn't even paying you, but you then like are clearly actually a customer of theirs. It makes the brand seem kind of desperate and sad in a lot of ways, which is the last thing you want when you are working with them to make the brand seem cool and desirable. So just a good note for creators. Some viewer questions. How to get last-minute campaigns for the holiday season? Great question. Unfortunately, you're probably too late. This episode will come out second week in November. Most content needs to be posted by, at the latest, mid-December. Ship has left the dock. The train has left the station. Whatever, proverbial example you want to use. I would say brands start thinking about holiday in July, August. And I would say most influencers are onboarded September, October. So it's good for you to know for next year just when you need to be reaching out, but earlier than you would anticipate, given how slow a lot of these brands move and just how much machinery there is to get through with approvals and everything else. Although I'm sure there will still be plenty of brands reaching out last minute. If your focus was, hey, I want to get some last minute holiday campaigns, I don't know that there's a good strategy to do that, because most brands have locked that up months ago. Everyone's been onboarded and briefed and probably created the content already for those campaigns. So I think you're better off at this point focusing on what the strategies are for 2024, sending them, if you posted about the brand a bunch during the year, sending them a report or a little summary of all of the posts that you did, and getting ready to have a great year next year. Another question is, how do I bypass a brand's affiliate programs / collaborations to paid opportunities? Now, so that is a great question with not a great answer. Generally, especially if you're an influencer under, 25,000 followers, I think that you will often find that brands want to work with you. Either they just want to gift you or they want to work with you just on affiliate. The easiest way to elevate what you are doing with a brand is to do a great job. sell a bunch of product, they're going to be much more likely to work with you. If you are doing affiliate with them and you're unable to sell product, it's not totally unheard of that you would jump from, affiliate into sponsored content. Think of it like a promotion. Like, what's the easiest way to get a promotion? Like, be fucking good at your job, overperform, go above and beyond. Increasingly, I do think that, maybe it's not 25K, maybe it's more like 15K, but increasingly, I think brands will be looking to pay people with smaller followings less and less frequently, and work with them either as a UGC creator or affiliate. But it takes a lot of hours to execute a campaign with somebody, whether they have 5,000 followers or 500,000 followers. And a lot of the cost for the brand is just the amount of time they have to spend. And I think increasingly they're saying it is not worth our time or our agency's time to execute this campaign with this creator in a paid sponsored post capacity if only 2,000 people are going to see it. It's just a lot of work. The juice is not worth the squeeze to them. I'm not saying it's not valuable, and obviously micro and nano influencers have amazing engagement rates, and there's a lot of ways to work with people with smaller followings at scale. It's just increasingly through sponsored posts that are paid, I'm seeing that less and less, and I expect that trend to continue. What things should I look for in similar content creators to me to study why they are successful? Successful creators, in some sense, are all the same. They've all become successful in the same ways, and unsuccessful ones have a myriad of reasons why they are not successful. And ultimately, what you need to do is create content that people want to connect with, and build and cultivate a community. Leverage that community to work with brands and nurture those brand relationships while maintaining trust with your community. That's kind of it. That's what if you look at everyone, it's the same shit. Now, how they got there, what that looks like for them, those things are all different, and interesting to look at other people's success and understand what can I learn from this. I read a lot of biographies of great figures in history. I just finished Frida Kahlo's, which was amazing. And there are always lessons to be learned, but those lessons are more philosophical than tactical in a lot of ways, if that makes sense, because there's not much I can do that Frida did to make myself successful, right? But again, there are philosophical things about being true to yourself and being your kind of full self by taking a lot of time with your art and really investing in your craft over a number of decades. There are real lessons in there that I will hold forever, probably, but copying, what Rockefeller did is not going to make me Rockefeller. Reading Elon Musk's biography and trying to be Elon Musk is not going to make me successful, right? And so ultimately, it's this weird thing where the path to success, every single one is different and every single one is the same. For you, it's about figuring out what are those things that are always the same that I need to do, and then what is the way that I can do that. It's good if you haven't listened to the episode with Lindsay. She talks a lot about this, how for years she was kind of copying other creators, and then by copying creators, learned a lot about the platforms and about herself and what she liked and didn't, and what kind of content she wanted to create. But it wasn't until she kind of stepped into her own and went out and said, this is what I want to do, that she got really successful. So I think that's a great one to listen to, and inspirational look at how can I learn from other people, and then when do I need to say, okay, it's time for me to do my own thing here and to create my own story. That thing, that je ne sais quoi, isn't something that you can take from somebody else. It's got to come from within. And finding that is one of life's great journeys. It's an amazing thing if you can find something that you're really great at that other people want from you. What a wonderful way to build a career, and I think it is worth investing in and looking for. And I wish you all luck in that journey. And as always, if I can be helpful, please continue to ask questions and we will continue to answer them. Well, I mean, I read Frida's book. That was really good. I've been reading this Henry James book that's like 700 pages long, so that's like taking quite some time. The Frida Kahlo book was like quite long as well. So yeah, I don't think I have anything.